So, Joe, tell us about the first fish you ever caught.
First trout I ever caught was 1935. 35 or 36. And my father purchased a rod. It was 7.5 foot kingfisher. The rod cost $7 and some cents. And he had a rod, I don't know where he found his rod. But the season started April 15th, and it started at 5 in the morning. And so we went to the stream, still in darkness, and we had a can of fishing worms, and we had everything rigged up the best we could because we had very little knowledge. I did get a worm on the hook and managed to flip the worm into the water, and I felt a tug on the other end, and I answered the tug with a lift, and I threw an 8-inch trout right up over my head, and it came off the hook and it was in the grass behind me, and I saw finally the grass moving back and forth, and I captured my first trout. It was an 8-inch beauty, a little brown trout. My father, with no experience, hooked a 12-inch trout, threw the rod down, and grabbed the line hand over hand to get his fish. So we were two absolute neophytes. And so, but it made no difference. We were both hooked. The fish were hooked, but we were. We just thought that was wonderful. So I paraded my 8-inch trout all around and there were a lot of fishermen. Pennsylvania had a lot of fishermen on the opening day. Way back then, back in the 30s, the banks were lined the opening day. In fact, probably the opening first couple of days. And so my mother cooked that trout for me, and I had a trout sandwich, which I thought was the most delicious thing in the history of the world. And so that was my first experience, yes.
It's all been uphill from there.
It has been uphill, yes. It really has.
That wasn't the biggest fish you ever caught, though.
No. It was in 1974, I think. No, 1977, let's see.
So Joe's done so many things that he's got a little sheet of paper here to remind him of some of the amazing things that he's done.
It was in 1977, and I was fishing after night, and I heard this fish break water, and I thought a deer had jumped off the bank. It made such a splash, and then there wasn't any deer leaving the stream, and I knew that it was a huge fish. And so my quest started for that trout.
So you heard the fish break water.
So I heard the fish break water. And so the rest of that year I worked. There was a big tree that had fallen in the water, and that's where that trout probably was living. It was a great cover spot for any fish. And so I worked from that tree down to the end of the pool, and figuring that was basically his feeding station, but to no avail.